What is the biggest negative of commercial real estate? Well, I'll tell you, any kind of real estate really. It could be residential or it could be commercial. It could even be certain types of businesses. The largest problem with a multifamily property or a warehouse or whatever is getting your cash out of the deal. And as long as I've been doing this, that's really been the biggest negative I've seen. The cash flow is great. Even in a business, the cash flow is great. It's fantastic. You can adjust it. Now, you really can't do that in a lot of real estate investments, right? Because you have a renter, you have a tenant, and you have a lease. So you can't alter the lease probably mid-lease most of the time, unless something special comes up and you guys have terms prior to that. The problem is, what if there's another deal and you need $100,000? Well, how are you going to tap into that equity? So if you have a property and it has $500,000 of equity, how are you going to tap into that property or look at another opportunity? Well, there's only two ways. The first way is to refinance the property. So if you're not over leveraged, meaning if you have, you owe 30% on what you believe the value is. So if it's worth $1 million, you owe 300 grand. You can get a refinance, pull some cash out, maybe 65%, depending on where your area, depending on the deal. But I always say try to be conservative. Don't go up to 80. That's kind of dangerous. That's one way. The other way is selling the property. Well, selling the property sometimes takes a couple of months, right? So there's really only two ways to get your cash. And I'm not talking about the cash flow, because cash flow is not going to get you all your cash at once. The only way is refinancing or selling. Now, there are a couple advantages depending on what it is, depending on where you are. If you want to do a 1031, even if you do a 1031, you really can't pull all your cash out. You can pull out some cash and you get taxed on the cash that you pull out. So that's another misnomer, right? So if you have a 1031, you don't get hit with all of it. You get hit on some of it. Both ways, you're going to be kind of in that crunch. So if you go in making an investment and if you're putting some money down, that's fine. Just know that whatever your plan is, if you know your money's going to be tied up for 2 or 3 or 4 years, whether it's a syndication or whether it's your own property, really you're going to have to refinance the property to pull the cash out or sell the property. So if I had to think about it, I'd say that's the only thing really that I'm not very crazy about real estate. The other thing is management. Management is tough. People tell you they hire a property manager. I've found the best way is to create your own management company, but those are not as bad because you can make those adjustments. But really the biggest negative is the cash is tied up. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know.